Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. I, 16 female and mom, 37 male, have lived together all our lives since I lost my dad when I was 2. We have faced life's ups and downs together as a team. But something changed recently. My mom met a man who, in her words, was not here to replace my father but to help her move on. It was a hard pill for me to swallow, and I resisted the idea of accepting someone new into our lives. But I got used to having Jerry's presence in our house. I even started to like him a bit. He seemed to genuinely make my mom happy. However, things started to change when my mom fell sick and we found out the result of the sickness was pregnancy. Jerry disappeared and never returned. He left my mom heartbroken and a shadow of herself. She did not indulge in drinking and smoking because of the baby, but she got depressed. She just moped around the house mourning the absence of Jerry. I hoped that once she gave birth, she would be happy and being responsible for a baby would bring some good changes. I was wrong. It's quite unfortunate, but my baby sister was born into a sad home and was treated like dirt upon her arrival. Reddit, I'm writing to you for advice because my mom has dumped the responsibility of taking care of the baby on me. The moment she got better and could go about doing her daily activities, she left me to take care of the baby. My days transformed into a relentless cycle of feeding, changing diapers, attending to a crying baby, and trying to keep up with schoolwork. At first, I took up the responsibility of caring for Claire, female 10 months, my baby sister, because my mom told me she was going to work and could not trust any babysitter with Claire. But 1 month has turned into several months, and Claire is now 10 months. In those few months, I've missed more days of school than I've attended. My teacher sent many letters and tried to arrange meetings with her to inquire about my absence from school, but she was too busy to respond to the letters or attend the meetings. My grades were slipping and I was not doing well in school, which has been affecting my chances of getting the scholarship I had been aiming for. I tried speaking to my mom on several occasions, but my opinions were discarded like trash. She just never listened. She was always too busy or too tired. She breezes in the house and rushes out as hurriedly as she came in, claiming work was tedious. Claire fell sick a few days ago. She had a high temperature and was running a fever. I called my mom, but she was not answering her phone. I hurriedly took Claire to a neighbor who comes around regularly to help me, and we both rushed Claire to the hospital. While waiting for the doctor to attend to Claire, my mom finally answered, but it was not my mom's voice I heard, but a man. He told me to stop disturbing, that my mom had a hangover and was trying to rest. It didn't make sense, because my mom told me she was going to work. It was then and there I knew that work was just a cover. Perhaps she was seeing another guy while neglecting her child, or she was seeing many guys. Either way, it made me angry and hurt. She rushed into the hospital a few hours later, just while Claire was being discharged. She didn't take Claire from my hands. She only drove us home silently. I didn't speak to her and she didn't speak to me. She robbed me of a normal teenage life, good grades and time with friends in the last few months just to spend time with the guy. I'm hurt and disappointed. My wounds run deep. Today, before she left for work or wherever she planned to go, I dressed up and rushed to school, leaving Claire by herself. School was bad as I kept trying to catch up with lost work. I could just see my dreams slipping from my hands. I got home late this afternoon. I met Claire alone in the living room and a note on the table, saying she stepped out for a minute to get something and she would be back soon. She came back hours later and she was drunk, totally wasted. A strange man brought her home. He's currently in our living room watching television like it's just another day. Reddit, help me. What do I do? I'm tired. I can't keep living this way. I'm losing a grip on my life. Claire makes me happy, but I can't cope anymore. I'm not sure I can keep doing this. It's overwhelming. Update. I appreciate the outpouring of support in response to my last post. Many of you suggested that I talk to my mom and try to settle things amicably, so that's exactly what I did. I approached her to talk. Unfortunately, reality slapped me in the face. Our conversation quickly escalated into a heated argument, an argument I didn't see coming. She dismissed my concerns, scoffed at the idea of seeking help, and accused me of overreacting. She told me I was just being lazy and acting like a brat. The more I pressed for a solution, the angrier she got, and the more she appeared like a stranger to me. It ended in a fight. I told her she was not the mother I knew, and she responded with a slap. In response to your advice, I started to document evidence of her actions just like you suggested. I've reported her to my teacher at school, explaining all that has been going on. The matter is already under investigation. In a surprising turn of events, my mother agreed to go to therapy, while my father's parents offered to take care of us until she gets better and is pronounced fit to care for children. I know I took the right steps by involving authorities and seeking professional help, but sometimes I still feel guilty for reporting her. My grandparents are taking good care of us, Claire has started walking, and my grades are starting to get better now. Do you think we should go back to my mother after she gets better, or should we stick with my grandparents? I'm sorry you went through all that, OP. You did the right thing telling someone about your mother. She was a terrible mother to you and your baby sister. I understand she's hurt, but Claire is her child, a little child she brought into this world. She needs all the care, love, and attention, and you definitely need to live a normal teenage life without worrying about who's going to take care of your sister. Your mom messed up. I hope she gets better with the right help. I hope you like it at your grandparents'. Whether you stay with them or leave to go back to your mother depends on how she behaves. Good luck, OP. Story 2. My fiancé, 26 male, and I, 23 female, have been together for over 2 years. I don't have a big family, just my dad and my older sister. My dad has always been a single parent, devoting his life to me and my sister, and working over 14 plus jobs in the past 6 years to provide for us. I love my dad and we have the best relationship anyone could hope for. However, my fiancé does not get along with him. They have different opinions on so many things. For example, my fiancé one time suggested to my dad to sell the truck he has because it's been sitting there for years. My dad got offended because this is my grandfather's truck and he has no money to get it fixed. Another example is my fiancé got mad at my dad at a party for talking about his struggle after my mom's death and accused him of collecting sympathy points, but dad said that he always talks about it casually. Their recent disagreement was when my dad refused to give my fiancé money to contribute to the wedding. My fiancé complained, but I said that my dad isn't obligated to pay for the wedding. Yesterday, my fiancé told me to look for someone else to walk me down the aisle and asked why. He said that my dad refused to help with the wedding and that he should be grateful he's still invited. I got upset and argued that for one, my dad refused to contribute because he had no money he could not afford to pay. And two, just like any bride, I want my dad to walk me down the aisle on my wedding day. He threw a fit, saying that I was trying to ruin his mood and get him upset on our wedding day. But I called him selfish for wanting to take away the moment I always dreamed of. Sounds cliche, but I'm like that, over his disagreements with dad. It's not fair given that he and my dad are on great terms. He yelled at me for calling him selfish, although it's our wedding, not just mine, and said that I clearly don't give a hoot if he's uncomfortable, then walked out. He's fuming and is insisting I'm being inconsiderate and projecting on him when I call him selfish. Not the a-hole, OP. Just wondering though, if you're so close to your dad, why are you marrying someone who so clearly doesn't respect him? He doesn't have to be best friends with the guy, but some common decency is the bare minimum when you, and by extension your family, will be tied to this man for life. To be honest, your fiancé sounds emotionally immature, extremely entitled, and like he's someone who's extremely inconsiderate of you and your wishes. Because seriously, not wanting your own father to walk you down the aisle is ridiculous. So I would honestly rethink this relationship if I was you. Now for some comments. Your fiancé is trying to control you. He sees your father as a threat to his control over you. There is no rational reason as to why he's taking issue with the issue he has been having a go at you over. I have been where you are. Please, OP, look up the term coercive control. I wish I had realized this concept sooner, not the a-hole. It was heartbreaking to read that OP's fiancé accused the dad of collecting sympathy points when openly expressing grief. Grief is hard on anyone, but we also know that most men are not taught to express their emotions and vulnerabilities openly or share challenging experiences like losing a partner. The fact that OP's dad has gotten to a place where he can talk about it casually and does so is huge. And the fiancé's response was so toxic and problematic. OP, not the a-hole. Run. Don't marry this dude. Your life is yours, but you're also young. Even if you're keen on having kids soon, you have plenty of time. Best of luck to you. Please take it from older, more experienced people. It is cheaper, less stressful, less mentally damaging, less legal trouble, etc. to postpone or call off a wedding than it is to get a divorce. I hope you can understand that this will be your life if you proceed. Your fiancé will constantly try to separate you from your support system, your dad, and most likely your friends too. Let me guess, he doesn't like any of them either, all the while putting you down in lots of little ways. You're not skinny enough, too skinny, hair not long enough, short enough, the right color, your cooking is bad, you're cleaning worse, you dress too modest or too revealing, etc., etc., etc. But he's wrong, and he's just trying to control you. Think long and hard before proceeding with this marriage, please. Story 3. I'm not a native English speaker, so I'm sorry for any mistakes. Some background. My parents got divorced when I was 13 due to my dad cheating on my mom with another woman, Sue. Since then, my sister 22 female and I 24 male have celebrated Christmas with our mom and her side of the family every even number of years, and our dad and grandparents every odd number of years. However, due to our grandpa getting very ill in late 2018, we thought it would be great to celebrate his last Christmas together. Just grandparents, my dad, sister, her son and me. We made arrangements with our mom and she was so happy and proud that we wanted to do this for our grandpa. Our grandpa ended up passing away in November that year, but we didn't want our grandma to sit alone on her first holiday without him, so we celebrated with her anyway. Come 2019, and apparently our grandma and dad thought that since we celebrated Christmas together the year before, that we had just rearranged the even-odd yearly tradition that left my sister, her son, toddler, and me without anyone to celebrate Christmas with, since they had not mentioned this and didn't until we asked about plans. Christmas is very important to us, so we were devastated and felt very left out. Our mom then rearranged her and her husband's plans completely so that we all could celebrate with them instead. Bless her soul. Christmas was saved. Then this year we are going to celebrate with our grandma and dad. He wants to bring Sue and her kids. Male 20, and female 16. My sister and I have a very strained relationship with them, since Sue was the woman who destroyed our family and her kids stole our dad. This is a recurring sore spot, and our dad often favors his new family over my sister and I. We act civil when we can't avoid them, but otherwise we do not engage very often with them. He thought that since they were now part of the family, we should all celebrate together. We asked our dad very politely if we could just celebrate Christmas with him, since they are barely acquaintances to us and it would feel weird to have them at such a personal and intimate holiday. He got defensive and said that we couldn't say Sue couldn't come since we regularly celebrated with our mom's husband. Our mom and her husband are married and he has lived with us for years, so it wasn't the same. He asked if anyone else was bringing their partner. I'm bringing my fiancée since her family is in Iceland, and she would be left home alone if she didn't come. His girlfriend has a family and kids here. We just feel it isn't fair that he constantly chooses Sue and her kids' feelings over ours. But we also feel that we might be blowing this out of proportion. So am I the a-hole? So are we the a-holes? Edit. Thank you so much for your comments. I have talked to my dad and sister. You were right, that my love for my dad blinded me to think that Sue and her kids were the villains in the story. It takes two to tango, and inevitably it was our dad who left us. My sister and I agree that we just miss our dad dearly, and the reason we resent Sue and her kids is because we feel left out and down priority. I'm taking a small hike with Dad on Thursday so we can talk this out and get our expectations aligned. I'm also bringing this up with my psychologist. We were mad because we miss our dad. Thank you, Reddit, for helping me see clearly. Now for some comments. Everyone sucks here. He shouldn't have cheated on your mom. The holiday that you got left out was nobody's fault in particular because everybody failed to communicate. And you're the a-hole for saying he has to choose with other people in his family or you for Christmas, which centers around family. Not the a-hole. Obviously, seeing Sue and her kids will be upsetting for you. If your dad tries to force it, then don't spend the holidays with him. You have other options and he needs to not bully you into a relationship with someone you want nothing to do with. I will say that you should address your feelings in therapy though, as at the moment you are blaming Sue and her kids for your father's infidelity and negligence. I get he's your dad and you don't want to be mad at him, but this is something you need to work through and accept who is to blame. Everyone sucks here. It's easier to be angry at Sue because you love your dad, but he's the one who must take responsibility for destroying your family. He's the one who has responsibilities to you and your mom, not Sue. You should make an effort to work through some of your feelings about that. But Sue is a permanent part of your dad's life now. You can't pretend that she and your step-siblings don't exist in perpetuity. You can't ask for a Christmas with him only. You can make an attempt to get to know them as flawed, but probably good people, or you can stay aloof and apart. Your choice. I think that learning to forgive them sounds less exhausting, but it's not necessary. You just can't ask your dad to pack them away so you can have a happy fake holiday.